Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my very first restoration.
Okay, so straight away we'll look at some of the damage from the previous owner of this chair. We've got a couple of broken joints and one big crack up the back of the chair, as you can see here. We're also missing a couple of plugs to cover the screws that keep the back of the chair on.
You might recognise this workshop from a good friend of mine that also does restorations. I am brand new to this. Unfortunately, we've got some major damage to this chair, and it also looks like it's already been repaired.
So we're going to get the base of the chair secured into place and start to remove some of the varnish from the legs. And I've sped up this process a little bit because there was a lot of work, a lot of scraping involved to take this varnish off. Okay, so I've changed tool for scraping the varnish off of the legs. So we moved to different types of cabinet scrapers for the different legs. And safety first, as always. So we're going to start to remove some of the varnish from the legs. Some of the areas that are difficult to get to, we're going to use some paint stripper. We're going to apply a thick coat of that to the areas that are difficult to get to. Leave it on there for a little bit and then start to take it off. And whilst we leave the paint stripper to do its job, I'm going to take this time to start on the seat. So we're going to take the varnish off of the seat.
We're going to take some of the steel wool to remove some of the varnish.
So this particular paint stripper, you can just wet it and give it a wipe and it's good to go. And you can see that all of it is gone.
Once we've got that out of the way, I'm going to secure the chair to the table and start to take off the varnish on the back of the chair.
Let's do some sanding. I'm gonna be nice to him.
Make it a little bit easier.
So Carl is going to reglue this huge crack, but we need to take this screw out so we can actually clamp it together. Otherwise, it's not gonna move.
Okay, so to repair this crack here, that's in the back of the chair, we're going to put a slight bead of glue through the crack and then suck it through the other side using a vacuum.
It's a very neat job. I think Carl is more professional than me.
So now all we're going to do is wipe around the area that we have repaired and trying our best not to wipe the actual crack that we've repaired.
So all I'm doing now is clamping the back of the chair together.
So I see Carl is using a little trick to stop the clamp from sliding down because this is curved. All right, and we've got a good glue squeeze out, so we know there's enough glue and enough pressure.
Okay, ladies and gents, we're back. It's been about a week now, so it's pretty safe to say that this glue should have set in our repair from the back of our chair. So we're going to remove these clamps now. That's the first one. Or we're going to try to remove these clamps anyway. Second out of the way. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is remove this little piece of wood so we can get the seat back together. Okay, so with this little bit removed now, we've got some white glue that we've also got to remove. So we're going to stick it in the vise. So to take the glue off of this one, we're going to use a hand planer. We're going to start gluing the seat back together now, all right? But we've put a little bit of paper down so we don't get any glue on our table. So we've got two pieces that we need to attach together and attach back to our seat. So what we're using to clamp this seat together is a panel clamp.
It's like he's been doing this his whole life.
Scraping some more of the white glue off. Now all I'm going to do is apply some paint stripper to the back of the chair, and I'm going to apply quite a lot to this because you can see that there was quite a lot of varnish left on the chair. Hopefully we're going to leave this on the chair for a little bit and then take it off. Moment of truth for the seat, where we take it out of the panel clamps and take a look and see how the repair has done. Okay, so I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so I'm going to use a dental toolkit to get into the areas that are hard to reach, just to make sure I try to remove as much as I possibly can. Okay, so now we're going to use oxalic acid to even out the tone and remove any possible stains. It's quite satisfying, that. Beauty.
So this is the tricky bit. We need to basically cut this out, and I think we're going to try and preserve the tan end and cut a hole in the other side and just reuse it. I think that's it.
So here, what we have got is a result of the iron in the steel wool reacting with the tannins inside the wood. So what we are going to use is oxalic acid to try and reverse the chemical reaction that's taken place. That's so cool. You're going to mess your table up.
It's pretty cool because this shows you exactly what happens literally after like a couple of minutes. What a huge difference.
Right, okay, so now we need to deactivate the oxalic acid before we do any sanding. So we're just applying some water to the chair and then we'll give it a little wipe down. So if you haven't noticed already, I am not a professional at this, and this is not something I do on the day-to-day basis. It's also not my workshop. I'm very lucky to have been given the opportunity to work in such an incredible workspace. So to repair one of the joints that we've got on this chair, I was able to use one of Flippin's fabulous tools that made it very, very easy. As you can see here, we have an area for the tenant to sit into. We're also using some expanding glue to make sure it's secure and tight. So once it is in place, we're going to clamp it and leave it to dry. And this is the first test fitting of the back of the chair. As you can see by the smile on my face, I am quite happy to get to this stage. Slight technical issue with this part of the video. That's why there's no sound. We did have a slight issue with one of the mics, so I'm just going to talk you through what we've done. So we've made some of the plugs to cover the screws on the back of the chair. They do have some initials on, just as an added bit of class to this chair. You could call it that if you wanted to. Big shout out to Jay at Flipping Drawers. None of this would have been possible without the assistance from such a talented professional like himself.
Perfect.
So we've actually decided to use small L brackets with small screws to secure the seat to the chair, just to allow for any expanding that might take place.
So basically what we're doing, we're mixing hard wax oil with some pigments to create a custom color that we think will work really good for this chair. It will make it a bit darker and just give it a nice rich color.
So at this point I was very, very excited, one, to have gotten to this stage on my first restoration, but as well to see the colour of this chair and the final finishing product, as I'm sure you are.
So because this is repaired with epoxy, which obviously has a different color, and we kind of faked the grain on it to blend in, and now Carl is filling in the repair with a color that's pretty much like the one that's used with the oil, and this should blend in nicely and make it almost invisible. And look at that. What repair.
What a project this was. Thank you for getting to this stage of the video. Feel free to subscribe if you'd like to see some more restorations done by myself. Enjoy the final results and let me know what you think in the comments.